Talk on something that we see every day, we go through every day, but we really don't go into the depth of it. The diversity. We look at the rising sun, right? We look at the clouds, we look at the sun, and we walk away and we go to work. We never realize that if you take a picture of every morning, all the cloud formations will be every day different, will never be the same. But if you take a picture of the sun, it will be the same all the time. So there are some certain things which don't change, and there are a lot of things that change. So why is that much discrepancy? And what is it about the change? What is it about this diversity that is happening everywhere? And what is the source of all this diversity? We never pay attention to it. So all things in nature can teach you big things if we really care to learn and if we care to understand. Simple things, but it can make profound difference in your life, the perception of life, how you live, how you treat others, and what kind of state you live in for your whole life can depend on small things you can learn. I have always made it a point to learn big things from small things. So I always like to look at the sunrise, and you look at the cloudiness, and then every cloud formation keeps changing. Even if you come back in 5 minutes and the whole cloud formation has changed. And yet it's a reality. It's not something you can do anything about it. It is a part of the nature. They say Hanuman was a prince on his previous life, and he was standing on the gallery of his palace in the previous life, and then he saw a beautiful cloud formation. He went to fetch his parents to come and look at it, and then by the time they came, the whole cloud formation had changed, and he was shocked. He says, what I liked, so beautiful, how did it change? So if this is the life, what is permanent? Then there is nothing permanent then. If everything is changing, what's the point of this life? Life is a changeable thing, and the change is part of the life. You're gonna change, I'm gonna change. What is the purpose of life? So that kind of got deep-seated into his inner psyche, and he decided to devote his next life towards search for something permanent. And he was looking for Ram. And that's when his next life he found Ram. Ram is only a representative. Again, we are very, very likely getting fetched into the forms and names and characters and all these things. We never really look at the things in metaphysical way, something that is beyond the form, because we are hooked on the forms. So it's not the question of Ram or Sita, it's the Ramatva and the Sitatva. All those things are in a deeper strength. We really look for it. So if you can learn and go into the quest for something permanent, then you can start going beyond the diversity. All these cloud formations you see, all the seasons we see, everything is changing. Even if you look at the human beings, there are so many millions and millions of human beings, each with different characters, different features. Their fingerprints are so different, the colors are different. Now this is only at the physical level that we can perceive. Now if we go one step deeper into the mind level, the mind is astronomically diverse, and it keeps on becoming more and more diverse every single moment. Our thoughts change, ideas change, beliefs change, a lot of things, convictions change, and all these changeable things ultimately can be traced into one thing, the sun. From the sun, earth came from the sun, the moon came from the sun, the planets came from the sun. So sun is an unchanging entity for us, and yet it is reflected within all of us. We are all solar powered, right? If sun goes down, then we all go down. All our thoughts and convictions and beliefs and all that we used to fight with each other, love each other, all those things will come to an end. So, and then of course, if you extrapolate on a much larger scale, the galaxies, if you take a picture of every single galaxy is different than each other. And then Krishna says, I am the owner of crores of universes. Forget about one or two universes. We hardly have a concept of second universe. They say there is a second universe that could be effecting its gravity onto our universe. But that's far-fetched theories and scientific facts and all those things. So diversity is something that can be traced into something singular that you can learn from just a simple sunrise. If we really pay attention to it and we go deeper, we can come to a place where all these diversities arise. The same universe that can be traced ultimately into consciousness, like we know, Big Bang Theory, 13.5 billion years back, something exploded, E equal to mc squared, energy turning to mass and all those things. So the key thing is to, do we really want to live our whole life holding on to our own identity, or we want to get a taste of the vast ocean that is really flowing within all of us, the consciousness. So meditation is something that can get you exposed to something that is lurking within us at this moment all the time, because that's where we all get bounded together. At physical level, we are different. Mind level, very different. At the consciousness level, we are all the same, because that's where the spirit is. So diversity is a way of life, but then the question comes, why do we have diversity? If the diversity has no value and no meaning, everything came from one, end of the story. Diversity is a process of creation. Diversity is responsible for creating something new all the time. And God never rests. The diversity keeps on multiplying all the time. There is never a single moment that the change is not happening. So change is always there, creating beautiful new creations. So if you really trace everything back to the consciousness is not just a physical entity, just energy that converted into mass. It's a lot more than that. It's life itself. It is the life that generates life that we call life. What we call life is only death, really. From the moment you're born, the death is already started. Why? Because the creation is already working on you. The change is already happening within you. Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. But we are hooked on the forms. We are hooked onto our individual identity. So we never really come out of the concept that this is life, because we have never ventured beyond this life to ultimately experience the life that never turns into death. But that's only for us to experience. So when we realize, we get hooked on whatever we're living, but we are not ready to accept the change. The day we will start accepting the change, the death will start becoming less important for us. The change will start becoming important to us. So imagine all these diverse forms which are already existing right now. They are on tremendous path of change. Every single moment, every single second, every single microseconds, all these changes are happening, and all operated on a grand scale by this vast consciousness. Only way to realize this consciousness is to go within. I cannot go within you, but you can go within yourself. And consciousness, to bring a change in you from within, has to be there. Otherwise, God will say, okay, you do on your own and I am on my own. It's not like that. It never deserts us, because it's always there, responsible for the change. You go to sleep at night and you think the Walmart was so dirty looking and shabby, all the clothes lying on the floor. You come in the morning, nice, neat and clean, everything. Somebody worked on it all night. You wake up in the morning, fresh sun is coming out. Who did it? So we never ask all these questions. So this kind of curiosity sometimes can take you deep into the realization, which is badly needed nowadays. Why is it badly needed? Because this diversity has to be appreciated, not objected to, not resisted, but embrace it and love it. The diversity is more differences of opinions are better. But we take it personally. It's your opinion versus my opinion. Right? And then the fight starts, argument starts, and then we end up losing our patience of mind. More diverse the minds, if the acceptance happens, when we get the concept and when we actually realize this state of consciousness, and you realize the immensity of all these things that is operational, then we realize that everything that exists is one common principle: existence. Everything is given the existence, and at the existential level, everybody and everything is the same. Whether it's a small earthworm, or a sparrow, or a bird, or a mountain, or a river, everything has right to exist. But this existence is lurking within us, but we never have a chance to enjoy the existence. Have you ever thought about it, that you would not exist? What will happen if you didn't exist? And when you go deep into the meditation, you can palpate. You can palpate the existence. You dissolve your identity as an individual. What do we do with this diversity? We never pay attention to diversity. We believe in ourselves. I want to be the right at the cost of anyone else. So all the thoughts that we have, they can turn into major weapons and try to prove our identity, try to define our ego. And based on this ego, we create a life that is full of chaos, arguments, sufferings, at the end of time. That's the end of it. So, thoughts are our connection to the outside world. But if in the world, for example, if we want to carry out an action, the thoughts, not all thoughts end up in action, right? There is a vast distance between thoughts and action, because we have plenty of time to intervene. You can say, okay, I'm thinking of killing someone, but you didn't kill, so thinking of killing is not a crime. If you kill, yeah, you can go to court, there are judges, lawyers, everything, right? So we have so much liberty to think, but not actually do it. But that's how it starts. Our thoughts are binary, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Thought of murder, not thought of murder. So if you don't think of murder, the journey never starts in that direction. But a single thought of murder, who knows, in a bad situation, multiplications, mulling over it, continuously thinking about it, turns into convictions, ideologies, and beliefs that yes, this person should die. And someday, at that point, a conviction to action is a matter of fraction of a second. Murders are committed in fraction of seconds. Suicides are happen in fraction of seconds. It's a matter of time. But before that, all this mulling happens. Brooding over it happens in the wrong directions. So it's very important to understand the anatomy of your mind. Mind is thoughts. But it's not just simple as thoughts. It's condensed thoughts, permanent beliefs, ideologies. Millions of wars have happened and killing a lot of people just because of ideologies. It's the stupidest thing to do. I believe I am Hindu. I believe you are Muslim, you should die. It's simple as that. Ideologies fight and result into actions. So these diversities we are not ready to accept. There is only one reason: we have never gone beyond the thoughts. So thoughtless state can be experienced within us. And at that level, we realize that thoughts have to be used very wisely. And that wisdom is something that is beyond the thought. You can't buy it in a shop, right? You cannot think over it that I want to become wise, because that's the thought again. So only the connection to the thoughtless state, it actually gives you and defines your inner engineering, how the whole mechanism works. Mahavir was a champion of the inner engineering. He spent 12 years studying his own mind. What is going on with the mind? What is wrong with the mind? Why people are suffering? Why there is so much violence? He went in with an open mind. He could have gone, he was a 24th Tirthankar. He could have just simply gone into temples and do the worship, and no, his path was within. It was the time when Hinduism was so prevalent. There were 33 crore gods were created. You could just go to any temple, worship, and you're done. Hypocrisy and showmanship and followerships and all those things were already happening. But he somehow thought there is something wrong. In diversity, we get lost. We don't accept what we do. We want to look like somebody else. Imagine, every single creation is diverse. And why every single creation is different? Whether we can see the difference or not. Sometimes you see twins, but their fingerprints are going to be different. Now, this is only at the physical level. Mind level, they're going to be totally different. Who knows, right? So, all these changes are arising from within because there is something that has a capacity which is infinite. Capacity is something which we never see around anywhere. Nobody has infinite capacity. Just the way nobody else is a sun. Everybody and everything else is a formation of sun. No one in the world can become sun. Sun is sun. Simple as that. Same way consciousness is non-dual. It's beyond the duality. Duality is diversity. But to make sense of diversity and rise above it is our function. But to get lost in the diversity and try to maintain your individual identity, you are trying to mimic each other. I want to look like Amitabh. How long efforts it takes to become Amitabh is a different story. I want to look like him. I want to look like this. I want to look like this. I want to match this. His hairstyle is this. I like this clothes. We copy each other, which is the worst thing to do. And all these things are happening because we don't know ourselves. The moment we start realizing ourselves, the taste of infinity starts. Not only the taste of infinity starts, attitude of freedom starts. That everybody is created different. So what's the point in comparing? If a rose wants to become a lotus, what's going to happen? Rose is rose. It's beautiful as it is. It never realizes its beauty and it wants to become lotus. Just because it envies lotus. Now, do you see all these things in the society? People trying to mimic each other, people trying to copy each other. It's like a whole herd of sheep going in one direction. Nobody's thinking what I should think. J. Krishnamurti said the right thing. We train our children to tell them what to think. We never teach them how to think. Thinking is an art that has to be developed ground up. So, life is not done yet for anyone because remember, we are all infinite. Any day you start thinking of going in that direction, it's always a good start. So go within, go beyond the thoughts. Mahavir realized that it's all about the thoughts. Thoughts are your weapons. He was a prince. All 12th, 14th, 13th were prince. He had fought battles. He had lived the life of violence, the goriness of killing people. And he realized that this is not for me. He never wanted to be non-violent. A lot of people think that Jainism is all about non-violence. It's wrong. Jainism is all about Atma. You know the Atma, the non-violence is a byproduct. Non-violence is a result of your contact with your soul. Soul is the most soft, the most sublime, most delicate, and the most freest and the most strongest substance that you will ever find. It's all very controversial. Nothing makes sense. How can you be soft and also at the same time the strongest? Because it has its own voice that we have never been hearing. Because we are in this diversity. We are like lost in a jungle and we don't know our way out. And we're trying to look more ways out, telling each other to take us to the right place. Whether we'll pick up Sadgurus or Brahmasmi, or what is it, Shivani, Brahma Kumaris, and all those things. Not that they are giving wrong messages. Messages are correct, but their messages say the same thing, go within. But no, that's so we create them. We create masses. And what if everybody was meditating every morning at home?
We don't need anybody.
Then we don't need anybody. They are there because we need them. I have a friend, he's a cardiologist, very intelligent guy. And every time Sadhguru comes in the town, he says, I have to go. I said, come on, but have you been following? Have you been meditating? Oh, I never get time. So he never meditates. Sadhguru tells him to meditate, but Sadhguru likes, obviously, people want to spend millions of dollars, no problem. He wants to do the right thing. But his message gets lost. Because going within is a problem. And why is it a problem? Because we face ourselves. Easy to wipe off. You cannot tell me what I'm thinking. So you take me as my face value. Oh, Sharingpa is a nice guy, he talks and this and that, he looks good, he's handsome, this and that, the doctors, or not handsome, ugly looking, whatever happens. Everybody has different opinions, different thinkings and all those things. He did this, I should do this, whatever, doesn't matter. So we go by the looks and we are lost in these apparent physical forms. So it goes within, that's where the reality starts. So but you cannot see it. When you go within, it's only you and your thoughts, nothing else. Thoughts can be very sinister, it can be very harmful, potentially, or it can be beautiful thoughts, but they are all yours. Right? And when you are there, it's like a court. The court where you are the criminal, you are the judge, and there is nobody to defend you but yourself. You are your own lawyer. So you have to argue out what all these things is about. And that's why people don't want to go within. So that's why meditation can be frightening. I recommend meditation to a lot of people, and there are people who are very emotionally attached and very extroverted in the personalities, and they just can't take it. They say, I start getting dizzy, I got frightened, I walked away. And they don't want to give it a try. I have an Indian girl, she's a grandma now, and her grandchild was born with she had some Albright disease, some disease where it's the loss of pigmentations, basically. And she was devastated. And I tried to comfort her, and I told her, and it just can't come out of it. And because her mind is so attuned to be able to do something for something that cannot be done, right? So it's an unending, frustrating situation, and acceptance has not reached there, and the contact with the vast consciousness is just not going to happen at that time, because so meditation is not for everyone. So going within ultimately takes you to a thoughtless state, because thoughts is where differentiation starts. At the thought level, we all are different, and this differentiation is ultimately the product of the diverse life that is out there. But because we have lost the contact with the thoughtless state, this differentiation is getting us caught into frictions. My ideas versus your ideas, my beliefs and your beliefs, my ideologies, your ideas. So the only place where the undifferentiated state we can find is when we can become thoughtless. In a thoughtless state, the undifferentiated state arises. And we say that, how did this diversity come about? You look at a seed, you put it in the right environment, and a tree comes out of it. The tree was hidden in the seed, but you open the seed, you don't see it. In unmanifested form, the tree always existed. And when you plant a mango seed, only mango tree comes out. That's the beauty of it, right? So the same way, all these differentiations that exist they do exist in some primordial state, in an undifferentiated state. But in undifferentiated state, you go within where everything merges. All your words merges, all your languages merges, all your appearances merges, and everything comes into the primordial state. That primordial state is the original consciousness, not just the E equal to mc square, just energy converted into mass, is a lot more than that. In that undifferentiated primordial state, all your questions get answered. All your difficulties gets taken care of. There is like Mahavaid, with Raj Vaid. Raj Vaid is the top of the Vaid. This is like ancient. You take all your ailments to the Raj Vaid and you get cured. So consciousness is Raj Vaid. We never gave him a try. All our sufferings we try to resolve on our own. But believe me, sincere meditation takes you further deep into the state of primordial existence where everything gets answered. If you have a superiority complex, it gets mellowed out, that you are nothing compared to this vast, infinite existence. If you have inferiority complex, you get force of individual freedom and courage, and that lifts you up. Everything mellowed out. Males go on and they say, without femininity, experiencing your femininity within you, you cannot come to me. The consciousness is a neutral state. Males cannot go as males. Because what is male and a female? They are just made from mitti. Mitti is soil, right? You know where the word humans come from?
No.
Humus. Humus, soil. Humus is soil. That's what the word humans come from. Right? So, Adam is also soil, Admi. So, we are made from soil. So, we are different, little physically different statues, males and females. But the prana that's coming in is neutral. To experience that neutrality, you need to rise above the thoughts, including the thoughts and belief, which at this point everybody has a belief that I am a male, I am a female. You need to go beyond that. It's not easy. It's not easy to go about the natural, because the other adaptations we have, that I am a Jain, I am a Hindu, these are our self-created. I am rich, I am poor, I am beautiful, I am handsome, I am not, I am ugly, whatever. These are all creations of our mind. But how do you go beyond the nature's trick that it has been playing on your mind, that you are a male and you are a female? It's deeply studied within you. But when you came in and the body was given to you, and then you established that bond with the body, which was a male or a female, your characteristics go in that direction based on the direction taken by the hormones. So that is the last thing barrier you have to go beyond, even the concept that you're a male or a female. And it's not just male or a female, femininity within you. Femininity is compassion, femininity is love, unconditional love for your children. All those vastness, forgiveness, all those are more based on femininity. And male is aggressiveness. Females have to do this and males have to do this, ultimately come to a neutral state. And that neutral state does exist, because that's the ultimate primordial existence where everything came from. So that's where all that can come from contemplating on one sunrise. All right? So much for that.